Hi everyone, this is Intuitive Edge. Welcome once again to my channel where we take an intuitive look at what's going on in our world and see what energies might be coming up for us. I'm going to tune into the cards. I'll be right back and we'll get started. I did a little light meditation and I wrote down some notes, so let's get into it. The first thing I saw was I was drawn over to the UK, and I feel like there may be something going on with King Charles. And there may be a change that's coming there. I saw a very ornate pitcher. It looked like a pitcher that you would pour tea or water, but it was very like porcelain and like probably hundreds of years old and very ceremonial looking. And I felt like it was commemorative and only used during certain occasions or special occasions. And it was serving a special tea or something like that. And then I got the impression of laying coins over someone's eyes and also a special tomb or resting place, like an underground tomb or sepulcher or place where people of prominence or honor are laid to rest. And it felt like almost like a pageantry. And I got the sense of underground, like going through tunnels, and there was lines of like military men in a line on either side of this hallway as maybe a casket is brought through. And it was almost like very ceremonial. I feel like I was looking at something more private as opposed to a public display. Like I'm sure there may be like some sort of public parade or something. Clue me in, my people from the UK. I know I have a few of you out there. Let me know if that makes any sense at all. It doesn't to me. I'm an American, so I don't know particularly, and I really appreciate any thoughts from people in the UK that would know more than I do. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm going to bounce around a little bit. For March, I was drawn back over to the United States. I was bouncing all over the globe, but I honed in on Minnesota. I felt like Minnesota will be back in the news, more uncovered there. And then I heard Scandal of the Century. And then I was bounced back over to France. I felt like the president of France and possibly Brigitte Macron. I got something of a broken wrist or a debilitating arm injury or shoulder. And there's going to be a little bit of we're not going to really know how it happened. Like there's a little bit of I don't know if it's a scandal over how it happened, but it could be an arm or wrist or shoulder injury, perhaps from a trip and fall or something like that. Next, I was bounced back over to the United States again, back to Colorado and Denver and Cheyenne Mountain. This is more kind of a military feel. And I felt also about a dome or an observatory. And I know there is an observatory not far from there in New Mexico. And I'm wondering if I was seeing there. I was seeing a big white observatory dome. And I got the sense that they, whoever they are monitoring something in space, like a comet or an asteroid. But then I got the sense it wasn't just monitoring it, but it was actually communicating with it or trying to establish a line of communication. And I got the impression that whatever this interstellar being is, that it is sending out a message, a communication, some type of pulse, some type of tone or something. And I got the sense that the people in the observatory were trying to decipher this message. And I felt like the message will be understood, but not by those in this dome that are trying to understand it. It almost feels like it's going to be understood, but by somebody else or something else. And I feel like there's a lot of secrecy and lying going on. about what this is, and it may not even be out in the news. The next thing I did, I tried to tune into earth changes, trying to dovetail on that big wave I was seeing, if there's anything new coming there. I do feel, when I felt into it, I feel like there could be some volcanic eruptions. The main things that I got were the page, and this was a message about something slow brewing, but then crossed by the King of Cups, which is all about water. Right above it was the Two of Swords, which had the backdrop of water, possibly. We have the Hermit, the King of Pentacles in the background, and the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords on the future was pointing right back into this king that was crossing that page. So to me, Knights of Swords are a messenger about things moving quickly, energy coming in, and then right across the Knight of Swords, I had the Chariot, and the Chariot is all about movement. So I do think there is some movement coming in. The bottom card was the Tower, which is something falling apart, cataclysm, and I was feeling volcanic. I know Kilauea's been erupting. So I looked at what's happening with Iran, Mexico, Venezuela, Israel, and the United Kingdom. And so I'm going to go over the cards that I got for those. For each of these countries, I did an issue, an obstacle, and a result card. For Iran, we have the King of Pentacles. Second card, the obstacle, is the Eight of Cups, which is a sad card of moving on, also retreat. And then the Four of Swords, which is about rest and waiting. So the King of Pentacles, obviously, the king has been displaced in Iran, and there's the moving through this with rest and waiting. However, the bottom of these cards for Iran was the Knight of Swords, which is energy moving in and coming in. So there's probably going to be a bit of a resting period or a waiting period, but it probably won't last very long before there are some big changes coming in. Next was Mexico. Now, Mexico, as you know, the United States took out one of the head kingpins for the cartels, which caused an uproar, a lot of chaos as a result of that. However, when I pulled cards for Mexico, they were actually very, very positive. The first card, the issue, I got the Four of Wands. That is a card of happiness, celebration, and the obstacle is the Three of Cups, which really isn't an obstacle. Three of Cups is a card of celebration and happiness as well. So I think underneath the craziness of what took place, there could be a general feeling of positivity with the people of Mexico. And also the Two of Wands on the result, the future. And that is the card of looking to the future. And the bottom underneath is that Knight of Pentacles. Knights being messengers about things moving a little slow, but overall, things for Mexico, I think, are looking a little brighter. Now, it may take a while because right now things are a little bit chaotic, but these cards indicate to me that things are going to turn around in a more positive manner, probably pretty quickly. Maybe things will begin to smooth and stabilize out. Again, I don't know how long that'll take. Right now it's volatile, but overall, I think down the road, it's going to be a lot smoother for Mexico. So that's a good thing. Next was Venezuela. We know that they are kind of moving through some issues over there. The main issue for them, I got the Three of Swords, can sometimes bring sadness, sometimes betrayal. The obstacle was the Ten of Swords, and there's an ending there. This could be a difficulty with what has been transpiring there. There could be some things in flux with the leadership, moving things in. The result card was very positive, and that was the Ace of Wands. This is a new beginning. Things are going to eventually move out, but right now there's still a lot to kind of move through, and still things are up in the air. The bottom card was the Tower, indicating a little bit more upheaval to come. But that Ace of Wands, that new beginnings of something coming in that's going to help stabilize things. So Venezuela, look for a little bit more challenges ahead, but also the future is looking a little brighter for Venezuela as well. So I went to Israel. The issue for Israel, I got the Six of Wands. To me, I call it the card of the triumphal entry. To me, that's a card of recognition, reward. The obstacle for Israel is the moon. And that's interesting because the moon is symbolic. The moon is also representative of Islam. Um, so there could be some obstacles there. The moon is also things that are hidden, things that are not clear at the moment. There could be some subterfuge going on as an obstacle. There's with that Six of Wands, that issue is like we're wanting to have this triumph, this celebration, and yet the moon is coming in kind of dampening that quite a bit. So not quite the energy of celebration because there's some stuff that's clouding things for them right now. The result was the Five of Cups. Now that to me is like, okay, they're wanting to celebrate, but it's not quite there because the Five of Cups is coming in with a sad change. And the moon is making things really murky, really cloudy, not really able to see the truth of what's really happening. The bottom is the Strength card, which means that there is strength to be had for them. But right now, I wouldn't want to be too gung-ho on celebration because it's really not, the energy is just not supportive for that right at this time. Next was the United Kingdom, the issue and the obstacle and the result. So this is the Nine of Wands. This is a card of being a little pensive. We're waiting on something. There's news coming in and we're waiting to hear. We're needing to get more information on what this is. Nine of Wands and then the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands tells me there's a burden, there's something to carry. This Nine of Wands is waiting for this revelation that's going to add more burden. And then the Chariot tells me that the result is something's coming in quickly. And it's going to feel like a burden and like having to wait and hear back and maybe waiting for the news to drop, waiting to understand what's happening. And then the Chariot. On the bottom is the Tower. So there could be some sort of upheaval or chaos that is coming in with the energy of the Chariot that's causing a burden, a restriction. And it could have to do with what I was sensing with King Charles. You know, maybe if something happened, the area would be on high alert. They'd want to know what's going on. There's this Ten of Wands that indicates extra responsibility, a lot coming in. And so just pay attention. There could be some issues there with some changes. Okay. Some upheaval and some changes. Okay. And then I went to the United States. I did do the United States. Interestingly enough, the first card out, the issue, I got the Judgment card. That was really interesting. The Judgment is about things that need to happen, and it's like, this is now or never. This is, you either act now or you don't. The obstacle is the Ten of Pentacles. Very interesting, that Judgment, that need to act, react, do something quickly. The obstacle is money somehow, or funding, or interesting, that Ten of Pentacles and that Judgment kind of juxtaposed with the issue and the obstacle. But the result was the King of Pentacles. That's a very, very interesting card to have on that. I always get that card for Donald Trump, so Donald Trump is probably very much involved in whatever this Judgment issue with the Ten of Pentacles is. However, the bottom of this is the Ten of Cups, which is extremely positive. So here we have Judgment, money issue or something with the Judgment card, Donald Trump, and then the wish being granted, success. Could be even celebration. So interesting energies for the United States. It sounds like there's a lot of like boom, boom, boom-ish energy coming in, and then this like, we did it, celebration, result, happiness, success. So I guess that's a good thing, because the United States has got its hands in a lot of things happening in the worldwide right now. So having a good outcome is preferable probably for everybody worldwide. So I'm glad to see the 10 of Cups on there. Hopefully the United States won't be the only one celebrating. I'm hoping this is something that will be good for Iran, Mexico, Venezuela, Israel, the United Kingdom, whatever, and other countries too around the world. Let's just hope that things work out for the best, okay? Let me see. I would like to pull some card or something that can help give some clarity on some of this. I'm going to grab a deck. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, so I pulled out my Wisdom of Avalon Oracle cards, and I wanted to get like a message across for my viewers here, something that can help each of us move forward wherever you are geographically. And I asked for the right card. When I was shuffling up, this is the card that I came out with. And it's the horse. I'm going to read from the little booklet here and see what it has to say about the horse. But I know there's a lot of talk about the fire horse energy coming in. It says here, the horse appears on your path to offer assistance. If you're asking a question about your life, the horse says that you will indeed receive help from another to aid you on your quest. Do you sometimes feel that although you give to others, no one helps you? Well, you don't have to walk the whole way alone. You can get help. The horse appears to remind you that assistance is for the asking. Sometimes you need to be carried to get to your destination. Trust when the horse appears. Help is yours. Remember to ask for it and accept it when it's offered. So very interesting seeing the horse coming up and that feeling of help and assistance. With the many changes and upheavals, I do feel that we are going to be needing assistance. There will be some places that have earth changes and upheavals, and that often brings in help. But I also feel as though we do have some help coming in the form, perhaps, of our galactic brothers and sisters, the others. There's going to be some declassification coming soon, don't know when. That is bound to be of interest to not only those in the United States, but in the world. And the key that I think for anybody is to stay out of fear no matter what. It's not anything to be afraid of. Fear is a vibration that is low, and it is a vibration that keeps people easily malleable and easily controlled. And the way through that is to hold yourself in your power and not give in to the temptation to be overcome with fear. Fear is very unsettling and very ungrounding. We have each other to hold on to, and we have other people to rely on that can help us get through. So with that, I think I'll close. Take care, everyone. We will see you next time. Bye for now.